Okay, a short video just on how to get like firework effects or lightning onto your animation. At the moment it's just one character in a scene. So the first thing I'll do is do assets, import package, assets, import package and particle systems. Okay, and then the window will say import. I've already imported it, so that's why it says that. Okay, so once it's imported, if you go to Assets, and then inside Standard Assets, you have a folder called Particle Systems. So you can double click on that, and then double click on Prefabs. What you can then do is just drag, so the character is somewhere here. So I'll just find the character first. If ever you lose your character, you can do Edit, Lock View to Selected. So you click on your character, you do Edit, Lock View to Selected, and then it zeroes in on your character. So I just lost the character for a second. So what I'm now going to do is just drag something. I'll just zoom out a little bit. Just make sure the camera is okay. Yep, okay. So now what I'm going to do is just drag something like, whoops, explosion. Okay, now some of them you don't see. You actually have to play the game first. I'm going to just drag the camera back a little bit. Just move the camera a little bit so I can see the character. Maybe just drag up. So to start with, just arrange your scene, and what should happen is when the animation plays. Okay, so you see like an explosion effect. You can move the explosion a little bit. I think I'm just going to do a firework, for example. If I drag a firework on and just drag it onto the scene, some of them you can actually see straight away. So if I click on game, so you'll see an explosion and also a firework. Now, what you can do is have this play in automatically, for example, after 5 seconds, or you can have it playing when you tap your keyboard. So firstly, I'll do, which one? I think I'll keep the fireworks. I'll just get rid of explosions. So the first thing you do, so this is how you get the firework to play after 5 seconds. If you have an animation, maybe you want the firework to explode after, say, 20 seconds. So this is what you would do. You do game object and create empty. Okay, you drag your fireworks into the game object like that. So now it's inside another blank object. If you then click on Assets, what you can then do is write some code that you then drag onto this game object. First thing, you're going to create a C# script. Actually, I'm going to just do that again. When you're watching tutorials, I'm just going to delete that. What they often do is you go to Assets. Okay. So, create. They often make a folder, so I'll do that. So I'll make scripts, and inside scripts I'm going to create C#, and I will call this delay. Okay, so now you've got a basic C# program. If you double click, so this is what you get. Now, okay, I'll just close that down. For the moment, without actually explaining the code, I'm going to sort of explain the basics, but actually just the code that you see here will be underneath the video that's posted. Now what I'm going to do is just open up a text editor. This has got the program that I did earlier. So firstly, what you're going to do is this. You're going to create, I'll come back to Unity. Oops. Okay, so above where it says start, okay, this is basically a variable, okay, particle system. So what this is, Fireworks, is a particle system. Okay, that's what it's called. So it says there, particle system. Okay. So the next thing, so you're just saying that you've got something that's called hit particles, which is a particle system. Okay, the next bit of code, I'm going to copy all this and paste it where it says start. So this is the code that gets run just once. Okay, and you're attaching this variable here to this component here. You're basically attaching it. It becomes clearer when you actually see it running. This one actually means, because the particle effect is an animation, you don't want the animation to play straight away. So that's what that stop means. Okay, the final bit is here. So I'm going to copy that underneath where it says start. So at the moment, if I come back to here, so we don't actually, on most of these scripts, you have an update, but this one we don't. So I'm just going to paste that. This is a particular type of mini program. So this bit here is like a mini program within this main program. This here, which says begin sparkles, that calls this mini program. Okay, so that's why those two are then linked. So wait for 5 seconds. So inside there you just put a number. Okay, and after that number it should play. So if I do file, okay, save, should be able to, oops, sorry, and then you click on the triangle, it will say build in, okay, build cancelled, I cancelled that, so just try that again. Okay, so it says build successful. So now you can go back to Unity. Okay, so you now have this program here called delay, this C# program. If you press game object, you should be able to drag it, the code, onto this empty object. What you've got here is this thing called hit particles. Okay. And what you need to do is actually connect your actual particle system to that code. So basically you drag the fireworks, drop it into there. Okay. If you go to game and press play, what should happen after 5 seconds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should, okay, slightly. So you then see the fireworks. So after 5 seconds, that's what happens. I haven't explained the code that deeply, but that's basically what you do. So this code will be underneath this video, as well as the next code, which will show you how when you press your keyboard, then something's going to happen. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to clean this one up. Okay. So like before, if you hopefully have done this already, but I'm going to just very, very quickly get this character. At the moment it's just standing still. So I press play. So I think what I'll do when I press the spacebar, so there is an animation attached to it. Okay, so hopefully you already know how to start this off. So we've got idle mode, and if I click on jump, okay, there is a trigger. Now what I'm going to do actually is just delete that, just in case you've never seen this or you haven't done this yet. So these are the animations 1, 2, and 3. That's the character standing. So in fact, I'm going to delete this. If you want to animate a character, I'll just do it one more time for anyone who hasn't done this yet. So this is your character. So if I press play now, okay, it's just standing there, not doing anything. So the way to do that is to do create, and then do animation controller. The character is called Ty, so I'll just call it Ty controller. And then click back on the character. Okay. The character that's actually in the scene at the moment. Click back on that. And I drag this where it says controller. Okay. Then if I double click on that, okay, it opens this up. So what I want is, again, just the idle animation to start with. Okay, so now, in case you've never done this, that's how you do it. Now what we'll do is when we press the space bar, we want it to actually jump. But as well as jumping, we're going to get it to fire something like a firework. So the code that I did for that one is in here. So you have a mixture of kind of what we've just done, a little bit of what we've just done, and what some of you might have done earlier. So the first thing I'm going to do is just the actual animation. So if I copy that first line and go back to here. So what I'm going to do, is actually make a new C# program. And this one I'm going to call it anim. So it's animation and it's a firework. Okay. So what I'll do is then double click on that. So the first thing, we're going to make an animation, so this is like a variable. Again, I'm not explaining the code too much because it's probably easier if I do that during the class. But and all this code is actually listed in the it's underneath this video. In fact, yeah, actually no. So I'll do this bit. So when the program starts, okay, you're just going to connect this here, this anim, to an actual animator, which is this. This is the animator. So you're telling the C# code to start connecting with stuff that's on your scene here inside Unity. What I'm going to do here is where it says update, I'm going to copy this bit first, okay, and go back to here. Okay, I'm going to put // to get rid of that code for the moment. So again, if you've never done this, if you press the button down that means jump, you're going to set a trigger to be is jumping. So if you do edit, project settings and input, jump. Okay, now it says here joystick button free, that's basically the space bar. So that word jump, if you press the space bar, that will activate that word jump. When you go to parameters, next, so this bit here, it says anim.setTrigger. You go back to Unity, click where it says parameters, click plus, we're making a trigger, and I'll call it is jumping. Okay, then I can make a transition from idle to jump. I spelled jumping right, actually no, I spelled it right. So I click now between this connector here. So I just click on that. Okay, and it's here where it says conditions, you just click plus, you choose is jumping. Okay, it's also important when you click on here, you untick that. Okay, and that will become clear in a second, hopefully. So now if I just have a look back at the code, and in Firework, I'm going to do File and Save. And then, so I click again, I'm going to try and compile it. Okay, so it says build successful. So you go back to your scene, you click on this character. Oops. Okay, so you're clicking on this character and you're just dragging that code on there. Okay, so it's connecting it to the character. Hopefully what should happen if I press play, okay, jumps when I press the spacebar. So what I'll do in the next bit of code, actually it didn't come back. I'm just going to right click, make transition and connect it back. So that way it will then, you can hit the spacebar more than once. So this first bit, next video will be about 5 minutes that will show you when he jumps, he's also going to fire a firework or something else.